so it's nice to see such a worldwide interest in these topics, even on this late seminar. So what we're going to be looking at today is beat the price increase. Paul will talk about that in a little bit, but we really wanted to look at markets. Paul had mentioned the movements of some of the major markets, and I'm going to look at some indexes. We'll take I'll reintroduce Paul midway, and then after that we'll look at some movers like Bitcoin and Ethereum and Tesla and so forth. So let's look at some of the major components, and I'm going to look at first the let me look at the Dow, because everybody follows the Dow. So on the Dow, you can see these lines here. The blue line is a 20-day simple moving average, and the red line is a 50-day simple moving average. And I use that to determine longer term trend. And normally, it's better to be a little bit more aggressive in the direction of the longer term trend. So in other words, if the longer term trend is up, I'd probably be more aggressive in trying to buy than I would to sell or to short, like with an option position. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, but I'd be looking for a little less potential profit. So anyway, here in the Dow, we could see a nice bull channel. And this, by the way, anybody recognize this pattern here? It's a 2 candlestick signal. This huge green candle wrapping around a little red candle or a doji. Anybody recognize this? Comes after downtrend. Green wrapping around red. Okay, it's the green wrapping around the red real body. So it's a bullish engulfing pattern. And some of you said a Harami, which would be true if this doji or small real body was within this big green candle. Harami is actually a Japanese word for pregnant. So it's a small real body and a big real body. But this is a bullish engulfing pattern. And what do you think was potentially positive about this, besides the length of the green real body, which means it opened here and it closed here? Did it confirm anything else? Give you a little hint. Support. And one of the key components that you'll learn, or you have learned if you're a student of candlecharts.com, is the importance of having a candlestick signal confirming a Western signal. When that happens, it greatly enhances the odds of the bullish signal working out, as it did here. So anyway, the market's rallied. And why do you think it's stalled, at least temporarily perhaps, but it's still a bull channel? But where do you think I'm looking for resistance? And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. Do you recognize this? A gap, a falling window, right? In Japan, they call gaps windows. So there's a falling window. And unlike the unlike the West, where we have gaps, we don't use them as support or resistance, but the Japanese do. So this is a potential resistance area, the whole zone right over here. So notice how it stalled here and stalled over here. Now let me show you a little trick. As I mentioned before, it's important to have a candle signal confirming Western signal. So I strongly advise you to continue using your favorite Western signals. I'll use moving averages and Fibonacci retracements and some other things. But anybody recognize this Western signal? Let me see if I can make a circle. Let's bear with me here. All right, I'm just going to use arrows. That, and I'm going to make another arrow over here. So anybody recognize what this is in Western technicals? It gapped up and it gapped down. That is an island top, classic Western signals. And I've been using Western signals for decades now, in addition to candlesticks, and I combine the best of both. Right, an island reversal. It's called an island because it looks like an island surrounded by water. Now, with an island top in Western signals, in Western technicals, the high of the island is a resistance area. And it's still resistance. I'm not saying it's not. But now that we know about candles, once the market sells off and you have this, is this our first resistance on a rally, or do we have a potential rally, or do we have something else? Hint. Right, the island reversal. So for those who were using only Western technicals, and unlike you who don't use candles, they may have seen this little rally here and say, hey, I'm expecting the Dow to perhaps stall up here. But now that we have that extra insight through education with candlesticks, we say, okay, yes, over here, but this is now our first resistance. And look what happened after. So that worked out really well. Anyway, and one thing I should point out, even if you don't trade any of these markets we're looking at, we're going to be looking at maybe 6 or 7 markets. Everything I do here is applicable to any market you trade in any time frame. So everything I'm going over now, you can apply the very next session to your own trading or investing. So anyway, the falling windows resistance, and as to support, just look at the little rising support line. Oops, over here. Okay, see nicely. Again, the power of using candles and Western technicals. This was a candle signal that gave us resistance. This is a Western signal, a rising support line that provides potential support. Okay. Let's look at the S&P because that's a very different picture than the Dow. Okay, so as far as the S&P is concerned, you can see the 20 is very close to the 50-day moving average. So I'm going to call the longer-term trend neutral. And right now, the market is in a box range, a Japanese call what we call a lateral trading environment, a box range. Here's the top end of the box. As long as you have 2 points of support or resistance, you have a box 1, 2, 1, 2. So now the market's smack in the middle of the box range over here. So these are what I'm looking at as key support or resistance. And the short-term trend I have is neutral, not surprisingly, because the market is, like I said, in the middle of the box range. I'll show you another little trick. And by the way, we do these markets. I do 10 to 12 we do 10 to 12 markets every day at our member site. Paul will be telling you about it. So a lot of these techniques I'm going over is stuff we do every day in our market, what we call market recap. And for those who are members of mycandletrust.com or will be, one of my favorite techniques is change of polarity, where prior support, once broken, becomes resistance, because all the buyers here, once the market sells off, become what here? If you're losing money, you buy here because the market held support, you buy over here, you're happy because you bought a support, then what happens here? Right? You're losing money now. So if the market gets to break even, you become sellers. So you can see the change of polarity. Old support equals new resistance, and look what happened. So there's a really simple but powerful technique. So that's what I'm looking for, my resistance area. And just the recent low as support. Here's a classic. Do a rectangle. Look at this. Oops. Green real body wrapping around 1, 2, 3 red real bodies. That's a bullish engulfing pattern, okay? And so this, if the market does really break, potentially this is really important support. But, you know, that's a long way from here. But again, this is a really powerful turn. Okay, let's look at another major component. We'll look at a couple more, then I'll turn it over to Paul for a couple of minutes. Okay, the composite. Again, the composite and the S&P look very different than the Dow. Obviously, different components. And here you can see the change of long-term trend is down. Short-term trend I'm going to have is down also, maybe a little bit more neutral. Anybody recognize this candlestick signal? Very long lower shadow, twice the height of the, at least twice the height of the real body, and a small real body at the top end. One of the basic candlestick signals. A hammer, good call on that. Yeah, Robert Tom. Yep. Daphne, great call on that. So many of the candlestick signals become potential support. So I would call that my first potential support. And then where do you think my next support would be? Similar to the S&P. See this green candle wrapped around numerous red real bodies. Let me see how many of you have good eyes. Okay. Why do you think the market stalled here? This, by the way, is called a gravestone doji because it looks like a tombstone. You don't see many of these. Anyway, why do you think the market stalled here? Have your eye go back a little bit. It's really small. Let me get rid of the line. Made it easy to see. A gap. Good. You have good eyes. You probably used a magnifying glass on your screen, right? Exactly. Godfrey and Tom, Jeff, good calls on those. Tiny window. A window is a window. I really like tiny windows. Why? Because remember, a window, the whole zone is support or resistance. You don't know whether it's going to stop. If it does stop as, say, resistance, in this case, it got above it. But here, when you have a tiny falling or sometimes a rising window, it gives you a much tighter resistance there. And look how beautifully that worked. So falling window, resistance, and potentially the hammer, and then the bullish engulfing pattern. And again, you may not trade the NASDAQ or the composite or the S&P or the Dow, but everything I'm going through, the windows, the hammers, the engulfing patterns, these are strategies you can apply in your own trading. And let's look at a currency. And then we'll look at Bitcoin later and Ethereum and Tesla. Okay, on the euro, dark cloud cover, almost a bearish engulfing pattern. I mentioned before, and the long-term trend is neutral. Although the 20 is above the 50-day moving average, to me, it's so close and the day crossed over. Short-term, I'm going to have up to neutral. Okay, why? What is that? Red wrapping around the green during a rally. It's the opposite of a bullish engulfing pattern. It's the opposite of this. Okay, a bearish engulfing pattern. Good call on that. And not surprisingly, this is a dark cloud cover because it didn't quite wrap around the green candle, and candles often become resistance. So that is where I have as a resistance area, potential turning signal. And then if the market does get above that, especially in the close, I'd look at this bearish engulfing pattern as my next resistance. But right now, the euro is at the top end of a box range. Here's the bottom end. All right. So this is a bearish signal at resistance. So I'd have this as R1, my first resistance, and R2. And it's important if the market does get above this resistance area, especially on a close, what should then become first support? If the market gets above this resistance, what should be support? Remember before we had a support area, once broken, became resistance? Right, so this, right, the old resistance, the top of these candles, if the market gets above it, especially in the close, this old resistance should be support. But right now, a bearish signal at confirmation of a bearish candlestick signal. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn over to Paul just for a brief minute or two, and then I'm going to get back on and talk about Bitcoin and Tesla and Ethereum and many others. Okay, Paul, over to you.
Thanks, Steve. Yep, and I'm going to go over my candle charts, what it is real fast, tell you what the special offer is. You're going to want to take advantage of this real quick. I do know that some of the people in the room right now are already members, so you can grab a drink while I talk about this. You guys already know that. And yes, Steve will be back in. Got a couple of comments that people saying that he's always amazing to listen to. So Steve will be back on in just a couple of minutes to do more markets. What you see on the screen right now are the feature sections of what's included for our students at My Candle Chart. So I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to put the link in when I'm done talking. I'm going to put the link in so that you can take a look for yourself as well. But all students of My Candle Charts get strategy sessions where twice a week you can request your market to be analyzed either by Steve or one of our other NISING certified trainers. Every day, Monday through Friday, we do a daily market recap, similar to what Steve just started doing. What he just did is just a snapshot of what we do. Every week we do an options outlook. I saw a lot of people in the room are option traders, where we go over option strategies in various markets. Every morning, Monday through Friday, we post a morning trade setup of the day, meaning a trade that we're looking at doing or potentially doing that day. Every week for our Forex students, we do a Forex session where we go more into detail into the different Forex pairs. Casual Trader, fantastic session. We post this video every Sunday for those that cannot really look at the markets during the week that much, but they really want to take advantage of swing trading and maybe even position trading. Every week we post a chart challenge. We offer special topics, which I will get to here in a second. Lifetime members, and that's what our special offer is, and I'll show you the special offer here in a second. Lifetime members get access to all of our special topics, and I'll show you that list. We have a charting widget, and we also have a weekly recap, which is similar to the daily recap, but just on a longer term time frame. Here's a listing of all of the different special topics, and I just put my little spotlight on here. These are all roughly 1 hour in length. These are all included for our lifetime members. And if you think about it, these are all somewhere between $79 and $99 each. I think we have 22 of them. We calculated the value is over $1,900 just in the special topics alone. Trading strategy, trade management. I'll tell you a couple of my other favorites. NISIN trading principles, all of Steve's trading rules that he follows. How to combine moving averages with candles. Combining East and West, Steve touched on that here today. Trading crypto for those Bitcoin traders. We got a lot of feedback today from Bitcoin traders that were losing their shirts. And then other traders, some of our students actually, that made a lot of money today trading crypto and Bitcoin. Exit strategies, how to exit a trade. A 3-part options bootcamp for those people that want to get into trading options but just haven't started yet. And then a whole bunch of other ones. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to tell you the quick highlights. Well, actually, before I show you the offer, I just want to read you 2 testimonials we got. This one right here. The best investment I have ever made in the markets was into myself. The return on investment I have gained from my lifetime membership has more than paid for itself in the first few weeks. Thank you, Steve and the team. We hear this kind of stuff all the time. And then another one that I wanted to highlight. Before I joined My Candle Charts, I would make gains in the market and then just lose them right back. My trading's become more consistent with more winning trades and fewer losing trades over the past few months. We get feedback like this all the time. So here's what I'm going to show you now. Our normal lifetime price is $12.49, meaning you pay that one time of $12.49 and you own a membership for lifetime. What we're doing is we're going to beat the price increase, meaning that $12.49 is going up. We offer a lot of value here. The $12.49 is going up, but for right now, while this countdown timer is on, we're also offering you, using coupon code VIP, to take $250 off. So your final cost is $9.99. You pay that one time, you own access to lifetime. Remember that $12.49 is going up, and that $250 coupon code will go away after this 1 day and 3 hours and rough amount of time. If you're watching this via the recording, you're already going to have less time. Okay, this time is going to count down. We're offering you the ability to sign up for lifetime right here, this big blue button. And then for those of you that want to get going, but you want to go on to a 2-payment plan, we are giving you a 2-payment plan option as well. So I'm just going to tell you one more thing, and then Steve's going to come back in and do markets, and then I will be in to answer questions after Steve's done doing markets. But again, you have a countdown timer. I'm going to put the link in here right when I'm done talking. But if you want to get going, it's candlecharts.com/lifetime. You'll get the opportunity to buy your lifetime membership. And one more thing before I give it back to Steve, we're giving you a fast action bonus. We want to thank you for taking the time. I saw that we have people in the room from multiple different continents. I know we had somebody tell me earlier that they were 1 or 2 a.m. their time right now. So a fast action bonus. If you register tonight, you will be invited to our very exciting upcoming strategy showcase session. Okay. And Eric just asked a question. What I'm going to do, Eric, is I'm going to hand it back to Steve so Steve can do more markets, and then I will be in the room to answer all of the different questions that have just popped in. And I see Eric and I see a bunch of other questions just popped in. So I will certainly elaborate on the benefits of lifetime membership after Steve's done with markets, but I'm going to put the link in. And Steve, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change it over to you. I know people want to listen to you talk about Bitcoin and a few other items. So I'm going to hand it over to you right now.
Okay, there we go, make sure. Great, okay. So we're looking at Bitcoin, and we could see over the last couple of days, my old joke was well, this is still a relatively high price stock, but my old joke was there's good support at 0. But anyway, you know, we have to look at what we do. First of all, the long-term trend is neutral. And as much as I use Western technicals, remember, most of them are lagging indicators. So, you know, a couple of days ago, the long-term moving average was above, the short-term was above the long-term, so the long-term moving average was up. And what's wonderful about the candles is you're going to get early reversals. So like here, the long-term, the short-term is above the long-term, so the long-term is up. But look at the warning signal we got with this bearish engulfing pattern before the long-term trend turned down. So I use these as my primary signals, and this is my kind of my secondary. This is much, much more important. So anyway, as far as resistance is concerned, well, one of the little tricks I'll do is we could see this resistance area right over here, right? But that's a long way from here. You know, that's at 21,000 when the market's at 15. So one of the little tricks that I do, and you could certainly try it, is look at an intraday chart when you have big moves like this, and see if there's something like on an hourly chart that might give you closer support or resistance. So let's look at an hourly, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And ignore the moving averages here, because these really are for daily moving averages. So I would look at, based on the hourly chart, okay, I would look at this prior support area. 1, 2, as long as you have 2 tests of support, you could use change of polarity. So like here, there's an hourly. You don't have to trade intraday, but it gives you an idea where the market could stall. Support, support, broke under it, look what became resistance. Okay, now support, 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 closed under it like magic, all right? That's became resistance. So my first resistance, looking at the hourly, is 17,300. And if we go back to the daily, okay, you really don't see that, right? You don't see a resistance area because you can't see really what's going on inside here unless you go to an hourly chart. So that's my first resistance. And support, I'll go back as far as necessary. Yeah, Jeff says, wow, yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty cool strategy. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go to a weekly. And okay, something cool. Okay, what is this? All the way back in July of 2020. What is that? Make it a little bigger. Try to make it bigger. You see that? Right over there. A gap. And so look what held support. There's a weekly chart, a rising window. Remember what I said? I like small windows. support, 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 support. So essentially for a month and a half, there was support at that tiny rising window. All right, now, based on that, now there's no bottom reversal signals yet. There's no hammers or bullish engulfing patterns. But if I had to call the next potential support area, it would be where that rising window is, and more importantly, because it was confirmed over a month and a half back in September 2020. So we're looking maybe in the 14,000, 250, 15,000 area as potential support. And as to resistance, again, it's a ways from here because we found that earlier resistance area based on the hourly. But if you want something longer term, think about all the buyers here, 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 and here. Now they're underwater. If the market rallies and they're losing thousands of dollars, the buyers here will become altogether sellers, right? So from a little longer term perspective, I would expect potential major resistance a little over 18,000. And you could see how you could use all different time frames to get different perspectives: intraday, daily, weekly. Okay, let's look at Ethereum. Okay, unlike Bitcoin, it still has not broken its major lows. So I'm going to look at that as potential support. This is a bullish engulfing pattern here. Look at the green real body wrapping around this red real body. And so that's down around 12 area, something like that. And I would use the prior support, okay, as resistance. So up until this week, the lows over the last month or so as a potential resistance area. Old support potentially becomes resistance. And let's look at just a couple more because we want to really try to keep this. We want to respect your time and try to keep this to a half an hour or so. Okay, Tesla. Okay, long-term trend down, short-term trend down. Now that you're all experts, what do you think my first resistance is? It may be hard to see the number, but what would you have as resistance? I don't know if you could see. Okay, you have gap by the blue mark. Yes, good call on that one, Jeff. That would definitely be resistance for two reasons, actually. One, the gap, and what else? I'll play the music for Jeopardy. Okay. 1, 2, 3, prior support. So we have the change of polarity. Okay, this is actually in Western technicals called a breakaway gap. So with candles, we have two reasons for resistance here. One, the falling window and change of polarity. And what I was getting to before, where my first resistance is, same idea, change of polarity. This prior support area, all the buyers are now losing money who bought here. So this would be my first resistance area. Okay. And this would be resistance. I might look at some resistance here because he had 3 consecutive highs, but this is a breakout from a box range. Top end box range, bottom end of the box range. And this is pretty bearish. The thing that could turn it around is if the bears fail to hold control and keep this market under the 205 area. It's actually called the crack and snap. So right now the bears are in charge, and it's up to them to maintain control of the market, to keep it bearish by keeping this market under the prior support area. So I'd keep an eye on that. So a close above this prior support would actually turn the short-term trend. I don't want to say positive, but it would make it less bearish. And how do we find a potential support area? Okay, we're getting some requests for markets to analyze. We do that within MyCC. We do it twice a week. Paul may have mentioned it in a strategy session. Unfortunately, I don't want to do it now because we want to keep this as short as possible. But we'll analyze any U.S. market that you want during our strategy sessions in mycandlecharts.com. Okay, I'm getting back. How would I find out what would be next support? Go to a longer term chart. Okay, this is a weekly. Let's go back to the daily here. So we were looking at a weekly before. So let's, on Tesla, that was the weekly chart. Okay, that was a little longer term. So we'll go back as far as necessary. Then I'll show you the daily chart. Okay. So on the weekly chart, okay, right now the market is under the support area. All right, but remember, a weekly chart, which this is, what do you need to close? What day does it have to close to complete a candle signal on a weekly chart? A daily chart, right, has to open on, right, daily chart open and close on the day, Friday. So right now it's under the support. So on a weekly, i.e. Friday basis, I still have this as support. But any close under the 180 area would be weekly close. And then under that, if that unfolds, then it'd be looking down here at the lows going back to October 2020. But let's look at the daily chart to get a little shorter term perspective. What do you think the market sold today? Where was the high? How come it ran into resistance? And most of you got this before. It's one of my favorite candlestick signals. Window, the falling window, exactly. So the falling window as my first resistance. And, that's where it stalled today. And let's look at one more crude because that's such an important market. And then I will turn it back over to Paul to answer your questions. Okay, and these are, during the recap, I'll go over all these markets, composite, the Dow, the S&P, crude, bonds, Bitcoin, currencies. So on crude, long-term trend is still up. The short-term trend I'm having down. We could see a bearish signal, dark cloud cover, where the red candle gets more than halfway into the green candle. See where it stalled. It got above their intersection, but didn't close above it. And even more short-term negative. You see how the market poked its head above resistance? Remember one of the other markets, I said if it gets above a resistance area, it's really important for the bulls to hold above that resistance. See how it got above this resistance and couldn't? That's actually short-term bearish with a target near the recent lows. And the market reached that today. So, but that doesn't mean it's a support area. My support area is the bottom end of the box range in crude. Okay, right over here. This is actually called a falling off the roof. It's the opposite of a crack and snap. A crack and snap is potentially bullish. So thank you so much for joining me. And with that, I will turn it back over to Paul, and I look forward working with you and Tim and all the other members of the CandleCharts.com family, Mark, Nissen certified trainers. Look forward to working with you in mycandlecharts.com for ongoing education and daily market analysis. Okay, Paul, over to you.
Thank you, Steve. And I'm going to answer all of your questions right now. So if you do have a question, type it in and I will get to it. Before I get into the other questions, Steve just brought up a great point that I wanted to share. This is our team of mentors led by Steve, the founder and CEO of CandleCharts.com. Then we have 3 what we call Nissen certified trainers. They're Sil, Brian, and Tim. And you can read all of their quick bios right here. But if you look quickly, the 4 of them have well over a century of trading experience. Okay, and they'll show you, 37 years, 20 plus years, and etc. So we had a couple of questions. I'll try to answer all of those for you. If you have a question, again, type it in. I don't want to keep harping on that, but ask questions. These sessions are done on a weekly basis. Some of them are on a daily basis, like the daily market recap is done every Monday through Friday. These sessions are held live. The strategy session, I'll just put a little pen mark. Live, 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 live. Okay. Now, we have students in 85 different countries, so everything that we do is recorded, everything, and posted immediately after the session is completed. So you're going to be able to access it either live or via recording. And honestly, most of our students watch it via the recording. Question I got was, can I do the 2-payment plan with the coupon? Yes. If you notice right here, with the lifetime membership offer, it'll be listed at $12.49. You put in that coupon code VIP. As it says here, use the coupon code VIP, and that'll bring the price down to $9.99. If you want to do the 2-payment plan, just the way our system works, the coupon code wouldn't work on that. So the 2-payment plan is already set with the discounted price. You just go in there. Payment 1 would be today. Payment 2 would be in 30 days from now. So question from, let me go back up, read a couple other questions. Eric, can you elaborate on the benefits of lifetime membership? Absolutely. So you have daily ongoing guidance right here in all of these live and recorded sessions. You will be able to ask questions from our team of mentors, including Steve. You'll be able to ask for your market to be analyzed every Monday and Thursday. So example, tomorrow afternoon here in the United States at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time, next New York time, we'll be hosting our daily market recap followed by the strategy session. So our members will be able to say, hey, can you take a look at Apple? We have somebody that just asked for Apple. We have somebody just asked for Facebook. Meta. I keep calling it Facebook. We had other people asking for the euro dollar. Somebody asked for the pound dollar. We had Bitcoin and Ethereum. Obviously, everyone's always looking at that. That's every strategy session every Monday and Thursday. The options outlook for those people that are interested in trading options. Oh my goodness, what value that brings to talk about specific markets and different option strategies, what strike price, how far out of an expiration, what option strategy, and things along that nature. Lawrence, I'll get to your question here in just a second. And then somebody just asked about special topics. Some of you here, I know, have already purchased some of these separately, and you know that these are great. We're going to be adding more. So our lifetime members will get access to all of these via recording, meaning you could go in and watch them anytime you want, and then access to all the new ones. If you scroll down below, we give you a few extra bonus items. We have a video on this page currently that will kind of walk you through the different highlighted items a little bit more in detail than what I'm doing right now, because I want to answer all of your questions. And then there's some more great testimonials from our students down below. So going back up, again, normal price is $12.49. That price of $12.49 is going up when this countdown timer hits 0. We're also offering you an additional $250 off using that VIP coupon code to bring the final price down to $9.99 for your lifetime membership. Lawrence's question, are there monthly payments we have to make after we pay the lifetime payment? No. One-time lifetime payment, and you own a membership for life, Lawrence. Okay, and the only other, if you had another payment, is if you went on the 2-payment plan again, that would be half today and the other half in 30 days. Okay. Hopefully I answered that question, Lawrence. I wanted to make sure that was clear. We get that question often, like asking if people have to make continuing payments after the lifetime payment. No, you pay that once and you have access. You could log in every single day and watch the daily recap recordings, the strategy session, the casual trader, the chart challenge, which is a lot of fun. You could watch the special topics with over 20 of them. You could watch one a day. You could binge watch them in a weekend if you really wanted to, and a lot of other features. Lawrence, did I answer that question for you? And the question before, I think it was from Eric. Yeah, Eric asked if I could elaborate on the benefits of becoming a member. Eric, tell me if I need to answer anything else. I am just typing in the link again. Lawrence is asking, is there a room that is open during the day or a Discord room? Inside of My Candle Charts, we have what is called the Traders Network, where think about it kind of like a Facebook where you could post questions and comments and things along that nature. It is not live. We don't have somebody in there at that moment, but you can certainly go in there, post a question, and then other students or our team of mentors can certainly go in and post. But you can also request questions at any of our live sessions, like our strategy session, our daily market recap, our options outlook, or Forex session, or any other special sessions. Like, I want to make sure I highlight this again. We're offering a fast action bonus. You registered tonight, you'll be invited to the next upcoming strategy showcase session. Normally we charge for those, but we're offering our lifetime members access to that included. So if you have a lifetime membership, whether you go with the pay in full for the one payment or the two payment plan, either way, you'll be invited to that showcase session where will also be interactive question capabilities and things along that nature. I think I answered all the questions that came in. I'll just give you another minute or so if you have another question, if you want to type that in. Some of these special topics, that was another question that just came in. Can I detail them a little bit more? Sure. These are all roughly 1 hour. Some of them are a little bit longer than an hour. Some of them are just shy of an hour. And they all hit literally what we call a special topic. These are going to enhance your education. You're going to learn a lot more. We had somebody today actually say, hey, I want to trade intraday options. Well, we have a whole hour plus session on intraday options. Jeff's question, do you still teach the Nissen Candle Scanner? Absolutely. A lot of our sessions inside of the room, like daily recaps and things like that, our team of mentors all use our Nissen Candle Scanner. So they all always have that on their chart. And Steve turned it off tonight. He wanted to focus more on the candles. But Steve also uses, obviously, the Nissen Candle Scanner software. So yes, we have that. We use that. Our team of mentors always will be using that as a way to help find trade setups and trade entry and exit points. Okay, so there are a ton of value here, a ton. And the experience from our team of mentors will help you get through any situation. And I just always go back to comments that we get from our students. The best investment he's ever made into his own trading. And it paid for itself in the first few weeks. And then this testimonial, before I join My Candle Charts, I make gains in the market and lose them back. I know I get that comment often from people. And I'll just leave you with this. If you want to do well in the market, if you want to profit in the market on a consistent, regular basis, you'll take full advantage of the special offer that we have here. The price is going up. This is a one-time membership opportunity that you're going to have. And somebody just asked, isn't the price going to be lower at Black Friday? No, it won't. And in fact, I'll guarantee you that it won't. I can tell you that if for whatever reason it was, we would certainly credit you that difference back down, but it will not be lower than this. Yeah, Jeff, I agree with you, and let me know if you give me permission to kind of repeat that out. But Jeff's saying he's going to sign up right now because I don't want to get into details for you, Jeff. I know that's your personal. Oh, Jeff's saying, yeah. Jeff says he's going to sign up right now because he's been trading for 5 years and has a net negative on his P&L. I know this is essential. It is. Like I was saying before, if you're serious about wanting to make money and you want to do well, we're not talking about doing well in one trade or in 1 week or in 1 month or even 1 year. We want you to do well for the rest of your life. Okay, truly, the rest of your life. And whether you start out just trading stocks and you say, hey, I really want to think about options, or hey, I want to get into Forex, or I want to get into Bitcoin. We had somebody just before the session, he called into the office and said, hey, I lost my shirt today in Bitcoin. Can you guys help me? And I said to him, I wish you had come to us a few weeks ago when we were identifying resistance areas in Bitcoin and reasons to exit long positions. We didn't know what was going to happen, obviously, with all the news that came out in the last 24, 48 hours on that. But there were signs that there were reasons to actually take profit off the table. And what a difference that would have made if he had taken profit off the table a couple of weeks ago compared to getting hammered today. Okay, so again, the link is candlecharts.com/lifetime. I want to congratulate. I see a few orders coming in right now. You will be getting an email from me with tips on how to get going with your membership right after you sign up. And then you'll also be getting invited to that strategy showcase session, which we are very, very excited for. I'm excited for it as a trader myself. I'm looking forward to always getting new ideas. So last call for any last minute questions. If not, I encourage you strongly, go to that link. You have a day and change right now to take full advantage of that. But if you act today, you get that fast action bonus. Make sure you use the code VIP if you're using the one payment for lifetime, or you do not need a coupon code as it shows here if you want the 2 payment plan. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Steve, for doing a great session as always, going over markets. And I look forward to seeing you inside of my candle charts. Bye for now.